And good evening everyone, welcome to episode 18 of How Is That Guy a WCS Driver. You can see things look a little bit different this week. I have got myself a little capture card I treated myself to earlier in the week in preparation for hopefully getting my Oculus Rift in just a couple of weeks if I'm very lucky, or maybe a bit longer. So I'm imagining this could well be the penultimate episode of this series, and then hopefully after that we'll be able to move on to the Oculus Rift videos. We're at COTA, Circuit of the Americas here in the Radical, lining up third on the grid, waiting for the lights to go green.
Green flag. Right side, clear. Right side, you're clear.
Okay, so we've survived the first half of a lap then, still held our position in third. Really we're expecting Richard and Gregor up ahead to disappear, and for me and Jorg maybe to be battling around a little bit for the majority of the race, but we shall see how it develops. Lots of differences in timing of braking for that first time into the hardest braking point on the circuit there. Richard braked very early, which made me wonder if I'd missed my braking point, and we see Jorg just sail on past. But just 25-minute race as normal, so try not to panic too early, just trying to keep some consistent laps in. I think we're seeing Richard just starting to build a little bit of space ahead now maybe. Shame that's just a short little run to the next corner there, as we heard. Ooh, pretty good run on Jorg, nearly went into the back of him. Right, let's see if we're going to get much of a slipstream up to turn one.
On your right. Clear, clear, clear.
Just lost a little bit of time on the exit there, couldn't quite get on the power as early once, it was just going to be pushing us too wide otherwise. So yeah, with me and Jorg squabbling a little bit through the last couple of minutes, so it really has now just allowed Richard and Gregor just to break away slightly there, 2-3 seconds down the road now. Hard braking into this hairpin again. Ooh, just about got away with that, went in much too hot. That was better, just slowing it down a little bit more that time, not running in quicker than we planned. Not done a huge amount of practice here at COTA this week. We got our qualifying time in just earlier this afternoon and tried to do a bit of race running just in the practice session leading up to this race, but like an example there, I didn't really manage to string enough laps together to get a real good feel for it for the race, so a bit unprepared maybe this week. But I feel confident that if we can just get some consistent laps in and not be running into hot toe slower corners again, we should be able to stay with Jorg and challenge him for the rest of the race, I would hope, but we shall see. Wasn't really liking the feel of Kota when I did a few laps at the beginning of the week. Just didn't feel right, couldn't get into a rhythm at all. But actually, to be fair, today I quite enjoyed running here. That first half of the circuit particularly was really nice in this Radical car. Those fast changes of direction really does get the car sliding around a fair bit, as Ian in the background just has a little bit of an off coming through that hairpin there. Looks like Gregor's closed a lot on Richard as well. The hill leading up to turn 1 here is pretty crazy. Yeah, even on the triple screens you do get a decent sense of how much of a rise you get as you come up there. Outbraked yourself massively somehow. Do not want to be getting on those pyramid little curves that we have on the inside there. Ooh, back marker getting tangled up a little bit. I think we're all going to get through. Oh, he says as he squeezes up against me. Thank you. Just about got away there. I was about to say it looked like we'd all cleared him. He moved out of the way nicely and then came straight back over to the apex, but we escaped. So I want to try and close on this gap to Jörg. We've not really managed to improve our timings into the braking zone in particular, I think, so far. So we need to focus on a bit more. That's a little bit better. Still a little bit too quick on entry. So all four of us really are just closing back up a little bit. Richard's down to just 3 seconds ahead now. That was much, much better into turn 1 that time. Gained a good chunk of time on Jörg ahead. A little bit too aggressive on the power there, so just about managed to get away with it, but we lost a good couple of attempts again. hard on the brakes again, all the way down into second. Ooh, much too hot that time. Just didn't get that at all on that one. That felt a little bit better through there at the time, able to keep a bit of a tighter line than maybe we've managed on previous laps. So yeah, overall we lost a big chunk of time on Jörg that lap, pretty much a second I think. Better on the power that time, didn't step out at all. So just going to be dropping off the slipstream that we've got from Jörg now really, I guess, so we need to be braking maybe a bit later than we have before. Yeah, tiny bit hot going in, but not by much. Just didn't get the entry into there right at all, came off the power much too early initially I think. Oh, that was a shame. At least we just saved it as an off track, but now really we're completely in no man's land. 7 seconds back to the next car, 5 seconds up ahead to Jörg. So just need to again just get our head into it a little bit. Not really been lapping as we could be doing. This is the first race that I've done here at COTA this week. Can't remember if I said that earlier or not. I might get the chance to get one more in tomorrow, which would be Sunday, but otherwise then that will be it. Week after that we're at Alton Park I believe, which should be fun, and then that's the final week of the season. I want to get some kind of okay points for here and Alton Park really. I think we've got 2 drop weeks that a reasonable point score would get rid of, hopefully, to just help us a little bit in the overall standings, move us up a couple of more spots maybe. But yeah, I don't think we're going to get much from this one obviously.
In front of you, in the middle of the track. Got one off the track in front of you.
So it looks like then Jörg has had a bit of a moment through the hairpin there. Back to our 1.5 to 2 second gap. Jörg must have been feeling a bit lonely, I reckon, and wanted a little bit of company again. That must have been what it was. Much more cautious on the power that time, not surprisingly. those horrible little pyramid curves on those apexes. And again, just taking much too much curb on the inside there, so just having to wait for the car to settle down before I could get anywhere near the power really. But we're back in Jörg's slipstream again, so we need to be a bit earlier on the brakes into this hairpin. So I think basically that was exactly the error that Jörg made, just a single lap before. I think we'll be lucky if he gives us another chance to close back up on him again. That was a shame on that one. I felt like I judged the braking okay into that one, just couldn't quite control that rear coming around slightly an inchy, which kind of been doing fairly consistently through most of those heavy braking zones where you can just balance the rear of the car just by modulating that back brake a little bit, but not this time. So we've got another 7.5 minutes left or so of this race. Just trying to at least make sure we don't pick up any more incidents and hang on to a little bit of safety rating at the very worst. God, it's hot as hell in here in this muggy summer's evening. That can be my excuse for stuffing up the race so far. Just not getting these braking zones at all in this race. Again, another example of just not getting anywhere near to the speed that we wanted at the apex. Balancing the oversteer slightly as we were going around that corner. Alright, so let's talk through a lap at Kota, shall we? So we got this insane looking turn one ahead of us. Such a steep approach, hard on the brakes, down into second. Braked a little bit earlier that time, but being careful on the power as you go over the crest. Completely flat now through this right-hander, getting over that inside curb. Up into fifth. Going to stay flat, now down into fourth. Ooh, get off that pyramid curb, but we get away with it. Down into third, a little bit of power just to push us around a touch longer. And again, just balancing the throttle as we go through that left-hander. Down into second, get over that curb again. Straighten up the exit as much as we can. Go early into third there just to try and stop the wheel spin quite so much. And now going to be hard on the brakes back down into second again. That was a better turning point that time. Yeah, that was more like it. Do that, something like that each lap would be more than a bit better. Just go down the longest straight on the circuit now. Getting up to above 250 kilometers an hour. White line here, hard on the brakes, down into second. Rear coming around ever so slightly, but much more like it again that time. Back to second again. Careful of that rear coming round. apex speed was too high that time, but we get away with it. Tricky braking here, need to try and keep the steering fairly straight as you initially get onto the brakes. And then we've got this kind of reverse of Turkey's turn 8, so just waiting on the power a little bit initially and then just balancing the rear of the car as we get on the power. Down 1 gear into 3rd, over this inside curb. Careful, careful, so slippery on the exits here at this track. Down 2, and again this is probably the most slippery exit as it's off camber as well. And yeah, it's a relatively clean lap of Kota to talk through on that one. Right, so I'm thinking we've only got a couple of laps left, just be careful with that marker here.
On your right. Clear.
Cool. Looks like Richard and Gregor are still fairly close together, within 2 seconds or so, so Richard hasn't been able to pull a gap at all. Just missed that apex by a mile on that one. A little bit earlier turning in here to compensate. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Really feel the bike, really feel the car not liking that curve that time. Just not catching that second gear sometimes, not quite getting my timing right on the blip, presumably. That was better into there that time. Just balancing that throttle again. Rear started coming around a little bit more than we wanted on the entry, but much too aggressive on the power on the exit as well. Just ending up a little bit too wide mid-corner through there as well, so another pretty piss-poor lap really. Oof, and again just not liking the curve so much, but just being too aggressive on the power anyway.
Nice and smooth. We're going to be pitching here in about 5.
And again, just keeping a little bit of an eye on when we're going to get to the back marker.
They know you're coming.
That's nicely out of the way, thank you very much. So it looks like Richard's built just a tiny bit more of a gap now to Gregor. He's more than 2 seconds ahead now. Just didn't slow down anything like enough that time again, just not getting this braking anywhere like what we're after really, lap after lap pretty much. I wonder if we've even managed to lap in the 2-minute ones at all. Possibly not, which would be pretty, again, piss poor really when our qualifying lap was in the 2-minute zeros. Only just granted, but nonetheless, should be in the ones every lap on most laps really. We have managed at least one faster lap of a 1 minute 0.5, but even so. Alright, final lap then. Get this pretty, well, decidedly average start to the week off and away. I said hopefully we'll do one more race tomorrow, which perhaps we can be a little bit more consistent with. Know that our focus needs to be on those braking zones, get those sorted a lot more, and the rest of it hopefully will sort itself out from there, really. Fucking pyramid curves again. And again, just about clip that one. Had to really straighten up a lot to make sure we weren't going to clatter it again. If you hit those square on as well, it will cause quite some damage to the car anyway. Nearly overcooked the penultimate corner there. That would have been an annoying little off track to get, but we hang on and overcooked the final one as well. Right, so that was pretty uneventful. Lap 1 was pretty good, and I think that was pretty much it, really, wasn't it? Oh, finish line's a little bit further. Let's keep going. Yeah, so decidedly average to below.
Good job, bud. Good hard fight.
But hey ho, as normal, as I said, the one race that we record is the race that we put on, or put up, really. Congrats, podium. I don't need to read it out anymore because you can see what I'm typing much easier, can't you? Right, I think let's very quickly have a look at lap 1 and then that'll do, really, won't it? I am absolutely dripping in sweat. It's so hot in this boxy room. Alright. Stop. Cameras. Camera. What should we go for? Right, so off the start, pretty even between everyone really, I think, initially, and then we were a little bit hot into turn 1, went up the inside of Gregor a bit, but he gave us a little bit of space, clattered that inside curve there. Let's go for that one. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good in this first half of the lap. We were able to stick right on the tail of Gregor, who maybe wasn't able to carry quite so much speed through the apexes of faster corners to start as it felt like, but that didn't last too long. And again, a little bit of a well, not really a misjudgment in the braking there, but we ended up turning in quite early and not getting a run out of that corner, allowing Jorg to really close up a lot behind. And then this is where I'm sure I remember seeing Richard's brake lights come on, and I wonder if it was very early that he braked or if I just was imagining this, but you see Jorg just able to drive right out the outside of me as a result. So look at an angle of Richard's brake lights out of curiosity. There's a good little shot of brake lights. So Richard's brake light comes on. It doesn't matter too much, I'm just curious as to why I braked so early sort of thing. Not like anything was his fault or anything. Right, so where is he in relation to braking markers? I'm looking at the wrong person. It might help if I looked at Richard, mightn't it? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, he did brake quite early then. That wasn't me just imagining. So I'm imagining his braking marker in the rest of the laps, I presume, were this white line. That's certainly where mine were. And so I, yeah, just kind of being out in the middle of a track defending from Jorg, I wondered if I just lost my brake marker a bit and, you know, felt a need to make sure I wasn't going to overcook it at all. What we got? Jorg's gone now anyway, so I won't reply to him. Yeah, what happened to me, Jorg? Well, I guess you might see in the video if you looked, but yeah, pretty poor race really with those what, two half spins really, I think we had, didn't we? Let's have a quick look at my laps out of curiosity. I said about not even getting into the ones, and we had at least one in there, I know. Yeah, only barely, a couple at the beginning, and that was it really. Very, very poor. Right, let's see a replay in case we decide to do outboard shots as well. I guess we probably have them. We're at Kota in the Radical. And let's have a quick look at points, just very quickly out of curiosity as well. Points. Right. 104. Okay, cool. Well, at least we got 100 points. So, as I think that's not going to hurt to bump us up the standings a little bit with a drop beat that we had, but still, yeah, perhaps if we can get in the race tomorrow night, we should be able to do a bit better than that. I would hope. For instance, I thought I got away with one of my little half spins not being a loss of control, but no, obviously was. Yeah, never mind. Right, okay, that'll do then for episode 18. Kind of, yeah, as we get towards the end of this series, just fizzling out a little bit maybe. So just not a particularly entertaining race on that one. Was it the same at Road Atlanta last week? Can't remember. So anyway, yeah, we've got one more week in the Radicals for this season. That'll be at Autumn Park, which I did very much enjoy when I played around there in the Mazda in the Grand Touring Cup just a couple of weeks ago, or a week or two ago. So I'm imagining that should be good fun in Radical. And fingers crossed, that'll be the end of the series. We'll have finished at episode 19, and I'll have my nice shiny new toy that we can start a new season with and do some different bits and pieces. Right, thank you guys. I shall see you next time.